Hey, Cricket,
Yeah.
swim lessons I think are critical. They need to start considering that. Oh, there you guys are. Can you hear us?
Yeah,
Okay, cool. I was just telling Cricket when you guys came on right now, Isabella started taking swim lessons at 18 months. So I think it's really important to consider that so that, I mean, you say he's not afraid of water. Have you considered that or maybe started that at some point?
well,
Um,
we've considered it.
Okay.
we just realized like he wouldn't be able to comprehend what somebody is telling him. I think now, like this summer, I definitely will put him in. I had already
Okay.
thought that earlier,
Okay, good.
just because he could understand. Like before, we tried to get him like to blow bubbles into the water, and he just couldn't do that. Now he can,
Good.
and
Okay.
can follow directions. Before he would
Okay.
not follow directions. So
Okay.
yeah, I totally agree with you. I do believe that, he should get some swim lessons, him and my daughter. So
Okay, good. And you had also, you said something that I caught my ear, Joy. You
what's up?
said something and then you said he doesn't want to get in trouble. Your younger Emmett.
Oh no, my oldest son didn't want to get in trouble.
No, you in
Um,
the very beginning, you said something about Emmett not wanting to get in trouble. This is before talking about when he ran out and your older son didn't want to tell you something. You said this about Emmett, that he didn't want to do something. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because I'm wondering if he understands getting in trouble or not wanting to be reprimanded for something.
Was it Emmett? I thought you were talking
It,
about your
you know, it was in the
oldest son.
very beginning when no, it was in the very beginning when I came on before I even knew she had other children. You guys had other children. So that's my point. I'm trying to figure out, does he understand what getting in trouble is, or if he doesn't want to get in trouble for doing something he knows he shouldn't do?
Well, so there are certain things that
Mhm.
he knows he shouldn't do, or he knows that he will get in trouble with. Like he knows, for instance, in his elopement, right? So when he wants to go and we're telling him no, then he sneaks.
like
Okay.
he'll literally like take one step, or he'll
Good.
wait till you turn
Okay.
your head. Like he'll
You know.
keep going
Yes.
to try.
Yes.
So
Okay.
he knows that he's not supposed to.
Not
but
Yeah,
supposed to.
I don't know
Okay,
if he
good.
knows that. It's not necessarily that he knows that he's going to get in trouble. It's just that he knows that we don't want him to.
It's
And I
not
know that's a
allowed.
real distinction, but that we told him no once, but he still wants to go. So he's doing
Sure.
everything that he can to do what he wants to
Sure.
do, regardless.
But he does understand that that's not what not necessarily trouble, but that's what he's not supposed to do. He does understand that. It sounds like he understands that part of it, is because I mean, he's looking at you guys, waiting for you not to look, and then he's going. So I'm just trying to understand his level of understanding. So he does get some things, is my point.
Yeah, I mean,
It
he
sounds like he
knows. Yeah,
does
And
get some things. Okay.
when we do get upset with him, he does
Mhm.
cry and he gets really
Okay.
upset. Like when
Okay.
we're like, no, you shouldn't have ran off, that's bad. Or sometimes I do like spank him, not angrily, but I do spank him like,
Yeah,
no,
I
you can't
get
do
it.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's dangerous. And then
That's right.
he will show some emotion, but
Okay.
it's just a falling
I
apart.
understand.
Like it's not
Yeah.
really a direct, like a
but
understanding.
yeah,
It's more of he got caught.
I can't really. I can't really describe it. I don't think he understands it wrong per se. I just think that he understands that we just don't want him to do it.
Right.
You know, so our daughter, she's 7. And she's highly intelligent. But one of the things there, that probably, kind of pushes my buttons a little bit more is she always has to know why we're telling her not to do it, right? She thinks
Of
that,
course.
yeah, right? She takes it a little bit step further, at least I think so. But she when I say no, we're not going to do that, she does it anyway because, either she says
Curiosity.
why she demands to know why
Mhm.
she does it anyway because she thinks that her justification is better than the
Better.
reason why we took.
I think
So
that's part of that's being a little girl too.
it is. I agree with that. But I think with Emmett, it's very similar because
Yeah.
he doesn't understand that it's bad. He doesn't understand why we're telling him no, and he thinks
Right.
that what he wants to do is what he should do. So I hesitate in
Okay.
saying that he knows that it's wrong, because I don't think that he does.
Right.
Do you guys have 3 kids or 2 kids?
We have 4.
4.
4 kids. Do any of the others show any signs of ADHD or autism?
Yeah. Yeah, the
Mhm.
oldest, he's 17 now. We had to had some behavioral issues with him early on in school.
Due to
Um,
boredom,
just
basically.
due to boredom.
He learned to read in like
Mhm.
6 weeks.
So maybe
And
Asperger level, a little higher
Yeah.
level.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
And so yeah, so we had some issues with him that we were able to kind of adjust his education, get him into a more advanced school that kind of was a little bit more advanced, and that kind of calmed him down because he was less bored. And then our daughter is basically the same way, very highly intelligent. We got her into school early, and all of that stuff like that.
But
So
she probably has ADHD also.
Mhm.
It's more difficult to see in girls, but now I see that I probably
Mhm.
have it. So
Yeah.
she definitely has it too.
And ADHD, they say that a lot of times that'll exhibit first and then later the
Mhm.
autism traits come out, so they don't see it right away, especially with girls. But the reason I ask that is my son's behaviors were the same because I'm the parent and I'm disciplining, I'm doing all those things. But when it came to the sibling, he was very receptive of the training she would do because she's the boss applesauce. And
Mhm.
I wasn't home all the time. So when I stopped my restaurant job and I was home more, I would tell him to do something and he would look at her. This is part of speech therapy because they say that they'll look for your approval. And so they tell you keep them in speech therapy so they can answer on their own independent. So he looks at her and she's like, it's okay, you can do it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm the mom, right? But he's so used to taking direction from her. One, because I wasn't home, but two, because that's his peer. So I share that with you because part of that elopement, if you feel, especially if your kids have a little bit of these tendencies, that they might do the better job at teaching him the elopement, the reasons why, I would highly encourage that because I know it's weird. It's a weird thing, but I
Oh,
always
it's
say you
not
got to
weird.
modify. You got to modify.
It's not
Mhm.
weird. So both of us do work full time. And so our kids do end up watching Emmett more than other siblings would normally do.
Mhm.
And so they know the risks and they know what it is, and he does react to them um a lot of times better than he reacts to us. So they are involved. They are, they do help out a lot. They're great in that way. They look out for their little brother, and it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
I know.
That's awesome.
There's a reason why he's the last one, because we all needed to be involved to help
Yeah.
him do.
I
Because
always say it takes a community, and the reason I say it takes a community is because your neighbors, like honestly, I know it's hard to share this with others. My son, he played in the backyard because we bought this like almost an acre property in the backyard. He can stim, he can do everything, nobody knows him, but he decided one day he wanted to take a walk in the front, and he had walked to school with his sister. So I was like, okay, where do you want to go? I want to go around the block. Now this was when he was 15 and he had just got home from the hospital from a mental breakdown. And he's like, Mom, I really, because he was on meds now. So he's like, I'm thinking, okay, he's got a clearer mind. He wants to try something he's never tried before. This is all change. He wants to be a teenager. So he said, I want to go around the block. I'm like, okay, what is the block to you? So he takes his finger and he draws a square. So I'm like, okay, all right. And you know where to go. Yes, I do, Mom. Okay. well, mom just finished washing her car. It's 120 degrees out. I'm going to go real quick and take a shower. You go around the block really quick, and then we'll meet at the front door. Okay, mom. Did not happen. He went to the park 2 blocks over. He went to the school he used to go to. He went everywhere. I get out of the shower, halfway through my shower, I'm like, this kid has no idea where he's going. What were you thinking? Why did you let him do it? You know, police don't know what they're doing. My husband's a copper. He would be like, what are you thinking? So I go, oh my God. So I go downstairs, can't find him anywhere. So I'm like, okay, do I call the police? Do I tell him that he's doing this? Because if somebody sees him, they're not going to know who this kid is. Well, here he comes walking around. I found you. I'm like, oh my gosh, were you lost? And he goes, what does that mean? And I go, lost. Were you lost? He goes, what does lost mean? I'm like, oh my God. So I said, Landon, lost means I can't find you. Yeah, Mom, I think I was. He goes, but you know what's really cool, Mom? What? There's a park like over here, and there's my school's over there. And he's telling me all these places he went. I go, Landon, that's not the block. This is the block. He goes, I don't know what the block is, Mom. So I grabbed his hand. I'm like, let's walk it. So we walked, right? And I said, that's the block. Landon, next time you do this, take a phone. Don't go by yourself, right? Make sure I can track you because we have tracking devices on our phones. Okay, Mom. But the issue was he didn't have a cell phone. So the next day my daughter calls me and she said, Mom, I'm home. Landon's backpack's here. He's not here. I'm like, oh my God. Lexi, go outside. Go check on him. I'm at work. Please go out there. Leave me on the phone. We need to find, because if we can't find him, we're going to have to call the police. Okay, Mom. So here he comes. She's opening the garage door. He's walking down the street, listening to his music, happy as can be. And she goes, Landon, Mom told you you're not allowed to go for a walk without a phone. He goes, I have a phone. He pulls out the house phone. So
Like the landline phone?
Like a landline phone. Now, this is the issue. None of our neighbors know Landon. None of them. Today, yes, but back then, no. And the landline phone is about this big, and it's silver and black.
Yeah.
So our neighbors see this kid walking down the street. There's some weird kid talking to himself, walking down the street, flapping his arms, pacing, talking, and he's carrying something that looks like it might be a gun. And I think he's on drugs. And I said, this is why we train community, because community has to know if you call on somebody like that and you say, Annie might have autism instead of just drugs. I go, you've already de-escalated the situation. So I share that story with you because I today tell everybody that Landon has autism in my neighborhood. I think Bernadette's the same.
Yes. Yep.
We share with the police, the fire, your medical, anybody that would be involved in crisis so that they're prepared if that call comes. And if you tell them these are the places he tends to elope to, maybe one day when he elopes, let him elope, follow him, see where he goes. He's going to show you his patterns, right?
Yeah, he goes to the same spot. Yeah.
In the same spot. So in that, every danger that's from here to there, we need to, let the police know these are the concerns that I have. There's a busy street. There's a house. I don't know the people that live there, anything, right? So now coppers know. I call them coppers. Sorry, I'm from Chicago. Coppers know, firefighters know, DES knows, everybody knows, and you're putting it out there. Now, when you go and apply for your DDD at 6 years old, you can say, we had to go to law enforcement, fire, all the people you went to let them know because of the concerns that we have with his safety.
Yeah.
And I share that because right now I'm dealing with a family whose son is 14. He's in a home in Levine, and he tried taking the life of his 7-year-old brother. And he elopes every weekend out of that group home. And Mom's telling me this story because they've been referred to over 150 different people to help them, and nobody's been able to do it, or they just walk away. So Mom says, Cricket, I'm calling you. DES doesn't know I'm calling you, but I'm calling you because I want to hear your opinion. I don't want to waste your time. I've already talked to 150 organizations. What makes yours different? And I said, well, I don't know. I'll tell you what we do, and I'll tell you how we're going to support you. And you tell me if you want me on the call, I'll be there. If you don't, I'm fine with that. So she said, well, this is the situation. And I said, well, let me ask you, have they ever considered, CBD oils to calm him so he doesn't want to elope? Have you ever considered, looking at opportunities where, they teach him what could happen if he elopes, and all these different things. I have all these different people that can help him possibly work on some coping things and things that force him not to want to do that. And she goes, I don't think they've done that. As a matter of fact, I think they allow him to elope because I don't think they want him there anymore. And I said, well, what's going to happen if he doesn't stay there? And she said, well, he's either going to die, right? Because he's going to do something he shouldn't do. He's going to be taken by somebody that wants him for whatever reasons. Or she's like, he's going to end up in consolidatory confinement in a prison somewhere. And I said, I know, I agree with you. So I say this because you guys are catching it very, very quickly. And I think that there's a lot of things that can be done. And when you figure what those things are, there's a lot of families out there that are going to need that information. So we would love that information when you figure it out. But we would like to be here on the journey with you to help you figure that out and find solutions. And maybe there's some families out there that have had the same situation that are willing to tell their story so that we can offer you some more suggestions. What worked for me may work for you. It may not. With Landon, we did the same thing. I put stuff so high up, and when he was 2.5, he pulled a bar stool that was heavier than him over to the door and was able to get out. We had a dog that never barked. She barked and told me. I was in the shower. I always in the shower when this kid decides to go somewhere. And, I'm running downstairs with shampoo in my hair, like, Landon, where are you going? You can't do that. Nonverbal.
That's
My
the same
husband
as
tells me,
Emmett.
yep,
Yeah,
all
he
the time.
he knows how to get out of any lock or whatever. If you put a piece of candy somewhere up high,
He'll
he'll
get
figure out
How to
get
get
it.
it.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
and
his
I'm going
bar
to tell
none.
you the two situations that both ended in not good end results. Those kids were up late at night watching the parents, like checking on them at 3 a.m. When are you going to bed? What are you doing? Why are you up for water? And as soon as those parents went to bed, these two kids eloped. And the end, I'm not even going to go through the end results, but it was not good. So I'm just telling you that there is a manipulative side,
Yes.
con artist side of these kids. It scares the heck out of me, to be honest with you. And I saw it even more when Landon was going through his breakdown. And it's scary because they're that smart. They're geniuses. And I always say, God, I don't know why you gave me this kid. I'm not smart enough to raise him. But that's the truth. I mean, honestly. So, I think there's a lot of, you guys have a great support group in your family, and I think that's one big benefit. But there is going to be some things that you're going to have to, try because it's very, very crazy, scary.
I want to ask a question real quick, Luke. Do you guys have, we have an alarm system at home, and our alarm system has an option to turn on what's called the door chimes. So anytime a door opens, it dings. Anytime a door opens, it dings.
Yeah,
Do
we've
you
got
have,
one. Yeah, we've got one of those. We've got one of those ring doorbells
okay.
that actually take video.
Oh, cool.
And we purchased, I don't know if you've heard of it, it's called Angel Sense.
You know what? I've heard of it. How do you like it?
It's bulky and it relies
Okay.
on a cell signal is
Okay.
kind of
That's the
the
hard
issues
thing.
that we've had. Yeah. So if he goes somewhere where it's at a signal and it's a little bulky, so it comes with a little carrying pouch, but he really doesn't like
Yeah.
wearing that.
No, of course
Um,
not.
and you know, and it got to the point where, I mean, we made the mistake, of course, of since he hadn't eloped for quite a while, we made the mistake of kind of not getting out of the habit of using it. And so we didn't have it on him when he eloped this time, and now we can't find it, of course. But Anyway, we got him a little wrist. Just recently got him a little wrist bracelet that actually says, it's Emmett, he's autistic, nonverbal, gives our name and number and everything like that. And he doesn't really like wearing that, of course, too. So
Of course.
Does he go out with shoes on or no shoes?
he doesn't like shoes
Okay.
at all. But we will when we kind of well, let's let's put it this way. We'll go out and he'll leave them on for a little bit, and then but next thing you know, if we go out to the park, he'll leave them on until we get to the park, and then the first thing he does is sit down and take them off.
Yeah. When he elopes, okay, so he's wearing clothes, or I'm guessing he doesn't take his clothes, because some kids are taking their clothes off. They don't like that.
He used to do that.
He used to do that. It depends on the clothes that he's wearing. So we
Right.
found some textures that it doesn't irritate him too much.
Good.
Basketball shorts are typically his favorite, like those types of materials and stuff like that. So as long as we keep him in those, he usually leaves his clothes on now. He used to, yeah.
I say when he was in preschool, he used to strip naked before they're like, we turned around, he was butt naked. So he used to strip naked. Yeah.
My husband, he's an officer, and he said, I wish we could put, something Velcro, just anything that would attach to clothes, because he's like, a lot of times we don't find them with shoes. Sometimes they even take their pants and their diaper off. He's like, they don't want any of that, right?
Yep.
So, but just something, not lanyards. We don't want to do anything like that. I have this fly; it's just flying everywhere. It's not supposed to. So I'm sorry about this. But he said they have tracking devices that they put in the bicycles, the handlebars, and then they put the plastic thing back on. He's like, those tracking devices would be an amazing thing to be able to attach somewhere on the clothing for these kids, because then at least they would be able to track it wherever it went. So those are things to think about. I don't know how you would attach it to, it would have to go on everything he does, and that's difficult.
And that's the issue with the Angel Sense thing. We also got, what did you get? One of those tags.
Well, there's a belt one where you can put it around their waist. And then did you tell them how it works?
Oh,
like
no,
the magnetic for clothing.
It's got a magnetic cap on the pin, so you can't take the pin off unless you have the magnet to take it off. And so
there's a waist one, and then there's also, like, for those who have sensory issues, like a tank top, and you can put it in the back, and then you basically seal the pocket with the magnetic pin.
I mean, we would started kind of putting it off in his pocket and then pinning his pocket closed. But then, of course, when he would drop trowel and run off naked, that didn't really help out very much. But I mean, it just comes up. Honestly, we probably just need to be a lot better at, making sure that it's on him at all times. And it's kind of more our failure of putting it on him is more than anything.
We all, you just want these kids to be kids, you know what I mean?
Right.
You're just being a parent, and we all beat ourselves up because we're like, oh, I wish we could do more, I wish I did more, but honestly, life is life. You have to work, you have to make income, you have to provide for your family. Those things are not, and I think that's why we're different, is we're not looking at what you're doing wrong. We're trying to figure out, how to support you and, just give you that confidence that you can do this. I think that's the biggest thing. But, we got to train community and society. Those people need more training than any of us do. I mean, that's the reality, because they don't understand. People are just ready to point the finger a lot of times, and, hopefully, you guys, you know that you're doing a great job. Like, that's super important to us. And, and the bigger thing is that, you're not alone anymore. Like, we're here to help you. We gave you a million ideas today. You guys are going to come up with your end result. We're here just to give you troubleshooting solutions. And then from there, hopefully we can give you, we'll put some things out on Facebook, and anonymous, we never mention names, but just get some feedback that we can maybe offer you. so that as a family, you guys can come up with what is the best game plan. But that's really it. It's just, you're fighting a fight right now, and you guys need a plan so that you can, you can get past all of this. And honestly, it's going to make all of you better anyway as a family, right? Because you're all going to be communicating more, and they'll be maybe less fearful of, you know, we all get so busy in our jobs that sometimes our kids make decisions, and then brother and sister are in trouble, and nobody wants to tell on each other. That's siblings, right? But we just got to tell them the importance of, being honest and sharing the information quickly, because it could really end in a bad result. And your family will figure all this out. I believe that, because you guys love each other, and that's a big part of this. So I hope we helped you today.
You did. You gave us a lot of really good ideas, and I really like the idea of actually going down to the police station and the fire department.
Yes.
Kind of what's that's with that.
Do you guys, are you open to maybe some type of decal on your home windows as well? I don't know if you want to.
On Joy's car.
Okay. Okay, good.
But I mean, yeah, we would of course be very open to that, and I guess I didn't think about putting it on the house, but yeah, we could.
Yeah, like on your front window, where people can see, so they know. And then the other thing too is, are you, and it doesn't have to be, are you on social media? Because maybe if you want to keep your privacy, you can create a different account with a different name. But if you're not on social media, like Cricket said, we have a lot of families following us. And I mean, you would not believe some of the things that, you probably would believe a lot of these things that these families go through. It's, and I'm just like, okay, I really feel like, as challenging as it is, God never gives us more than we can handle. And sometimes we feel like we're going to break, but we've got to figure out how to get through it. And like Cricket said, we're here to help you, Luke. I'm so glad that you reached out to us. I do want to say one more thing with regards to Altex, because you guys are going to be getting reassessed or going back through the process here now that he's 6. We have always told parents that if your child cannot do something 100%, then he cannot do it. He cannot do it. If he does not, Isabella, to this day, since she was a baby, I told my mom, I know there's something, I don't know what it is yet. Because remember, we brought her home from the hospital. We didn't know what her mom had at the time. We just knew there was some type of a delay. We now know that she has autism, because back then it was called mild mind intellect. I didn't even know that until I talked to her about a year ago, because her and I have grown closer, because we choose to keep an open relationship with the birth mom, because we think it's healthy for our daughter. And so our daughter even knows. And so anyhow, my point is that you just don't know. But when she was born, she looked through us instead of at us. She just had this gaze in her eyes, right? Like a daydream type of gaze. She has the sensory, she has the everything. And so if today, when I talk to her, she still looks away, but I've conditioned her that if she looks away, I stop talking, because I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm going to wait till you're looking at me again. So she knows that if I stop talking, she has to refocus, look back at me again. And she does. I'll just stop. And I'll wait. And oh my gosh, Luke, you know how much patience it takes. Oh, it takes me 5 times as long to get through something then. And my husband's learning that too now. He's now learning that he has to be a lot more patient. He has to work really hard not to get frustrated and say trigger words to her, because if you talk to her one way, she's going to turn around and tell you, why are you disrespecting me? Because she's using my words now, because I'm telling her, Isabella, do not disrespect mommy. That is not okay. So she'll tell me the same thing,
That's funny.
So
Emmett the other day, because us and the ABA therapy, if he does, something that he's not supposed to or whatever, we say, try again. And he asked for candy or something like that the other day, and Joy said, no, you can't have any candy. And he goes, try again.
Yeah, no, see, and Luke, they do understand more than we think at times, seriously, because Isabella is having challenges at school, and her school counselor, her case manager for her IEP, which is called an individual education plan, they do not debrief her enough, because they don't get it. So she will say yes and answer a question with a yes because she doesn't know how to explain what she needs to explain when the answer is really not yes. But she'll say yes to move along because she doesn't know what else to do. She just wants to satisfy the situation. And that's not okay. They actually thought she was considering self-harm, suicide, because she told them a thought she had in her mind about seeing a girl fall off a roof. And they thought she was talking about herself because some kids were bullying her at school. So she was sitting down crying profusely. She says, Mommy, I was crying so hard, snot was running out of my nose and I couldn't stop it. I sat there for a half hour crying. Now, I know it wasn't a half hour because I wouldn't let her sit there for a half hour, but we know that that's her reality. But these little types of things are huge because that's her reality. Whether or not it's true, it doesn't matter. That's what she feels. And we have to understand that and take it seriously. So going back to Altex, if he cannot tie his shoes 100%, 1000% by himself, he can't do it. If he doesn't look at you 100% of the time while you're talking to him, he can't do it. If he can't brush his teeth 100%, he can't. So just keep that in mind. And your answer is no, he cannot do it. And then you will probably get I'm hoping that that's what it was and that you will get your Altex, your long-term.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what it was. Yeah.
So that's what we run into a lot. So Luke, what else can we offer you right now? I know that you've got so much going on. The primary concerns are elopement. And then at least I know elopement. And I know for me, the next one would be school and Altex. Those three things are huge.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are the main things. The school, the one that's on my mind the most right now is getting him into school. Cause I know, honestly, we probably should have really started seriously looking at all of these things probably closer to the first of the year, just to make sure, because I know a lot of these schools, fill up very quickly.
They do.
I've got a really good friend she actually.
Oh, you're on mute. You just muted, Luke. I'm sorry. You got a
she's
really
actually
good friend?
Find a good placement, and she's actually wanting to do her own school, and I really hope that she actually is able to do that because she's awesome. But
Well, I'll tell you what, Luke, if you can get your son in school for 100 school days, you can get that ESA. As soon as he gets diagnosed with autism, you can get that ESA and autism dollars. From what I understand, I don't know if it's still over 20,000, but it's over 20,000 right now for my friend who has two sons. She gives them so many different extracurricular activities and supports in place. They do therapy. I'm sorry.
They
Okay.
need to take him to go. Give me kisses.
Okay.
Give me kisses.
Bye.
Aw.
Thank
Bye,
you. Joy. It was
Emmett.
nice meeting you.
Bye.
He's so
I
cute.
love you.
And Bernadette, I'm gonna have to jump off because I have
Yeah.
another call. But Luke,
No, that's good.
we're here to help. I would love for you to just stay in touch with us.
Mhm.
Let us know. Let us know what you've come up with.
Okay.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
So is there anything else, Cricket? You can go ahead and jump off. I
Yeah,
just want to make
thank
sure
you.
that we
Bye.
absolutely. So